In the heart of a lush, tropical jungle, there lived a mischievous monkey named Momo. Momo was known far and wide for his greed. He would hoard bananas, coconuts, and any other fruits he could find, often leaving little for the other animals of the jungle. One hot, sunny afternoon, Momo found himself atop a tall tree, gazing down at a vast grove filled with ripe mangoes. His eyes gleamed with anticipation. "All those mangoes will be mine," he declared, and with that, he swung down from tree to tree until he reached the grove. As Momo greedily began gathering mangoes, stuffing them into a large sack, a flock of colorful birds watched from a nearby tree. These birds, led by a wise old parrot named Pico, were hungry. They had been searching for food all day and were disheartened to see Momo taking all the mangoes for himself. "Pico," chirped a small bluebird, "what are we going to do? Momo is taking everything, and we'll go hungry." Pico pondered for a moment and then fluttered down to where Momo was busy collecting mangoes. "Momo," Pico called out, "why don't you share some of those mangoes with us? We are hungry, and there is more than enough for everyone." But Momo, clutching his sack tightly, shook his head. "Why should I share? I found these mangoes, and they are mine," he snapped. Pico, seeing that reasoning with Momo wouldn't work, flew back to the flock and gathered them close. "Listen, my friends," he whispered, "if we work together, we can outsmart Momo." The birds nodded, eager to hear Pico's plan. They spent the next few minutes gathering twigs, leaves, and vines. Then, as Pico instructed, they began to weave these materials together into a large net. Once the net was ready, they spread it out over a clearing in the grove and covered it with fallen mangoes, making it look like a bountiful feast. When Momo saw the pile of mangoes from a distance, his eyes widened with greed. "Even more mangoes! I must have them all!" he exclaimed, dropping his sack and rushing towards the clearing. As soon as Momo reached the pile and began grabbing the mangoes, the bird swiftly pulled the net closed, trapping Momo inside. "Hey, what is this?" Momo yelled, struggling against the net. Pico flew down and perched on a branch nearby. "This is a lesson, Momo. Your greed has left many of us hungry. If you promise to share and be more considerate in the future, we will let you go." Realizing he had no choice and feeling a twinge of guilt, Momo sighed. "I promise, I will share the mangoes and all the other fruits I find from now on." The birds released Momo from the net, and true to his word, he divided the mangoes equally among all the animals in the jungle. From that day on, Momo became known not as the greedy monkey, but as the generous one. And the jungle thrived with a spirit of sharing and cooperation. And so, Momo learned the joy of giving, and the jungle animals lived happily, always looking out for one another.